Welcome back to the Full View. Now, Police Minister Bheki Cele has returned to Riverlea, south of Johannesburg, to engage with residents there in an effort to find a lasting solution regarding illegal mining in the area. Well, this follows residents' concerns about safety after a turf war involving rival groups of illegal miners, which left 5 Zama Zamas dead last weekend. Police operations have since been heightened in the area, resulting in the recovery as well as confiscation of illegal firearms and ammunition, stolen property, explosives, gas cylinders and other apparatus commonly used during illegal mining activities. Mining Affected Communities United Action National Coordinator Mr. Meshack Mbangula should be joining us shortly. We do have on the line Mr. David van Wyk of the Benchmarks Foundation, and he is the lead researcher there. A very good evening to you, David. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, we've had this talk before, of course, where we are asking why is the government so reluctant on getting to the bottom of the beneficiaries of this illegal mining activities. Now, there is also a clip on social media where a resident alleges that some of the Zama Zamas were actually caught with bags of their loot and taken to a local police station. And the kingpin literally walked into the police station and demanded his bag, and he was just handed his bag without being arrested.
Well, yes, I'm not surprised. You see, the Langlaagte police station is about 500 meters from the operation at George Harrison Park, and it's about 2.5 kilometers from Zampilo, so it's just around the corner from both of those places. And we've been working in that area, including with some of the small-scale miners or Zama Zamas, for the last 15 years, and the community, the Riverlea Mining Forum. And we have been saying for a very, very long time that, you know, there is a serious problem in the area in that the coordination between the police and other departments is not very good, but also people did not want to listen to us when we said that we need to formalize and regulate small-scale mining in this country. We are sitting with 6,500 abandoned mines, and we are sitting with a network of criminality around these abandoned mines. They were illegally abandoned in the first place. That was the first crime that was committed. And now we are sitting there with 25 shafts of the old crown mines in that particular area. And, you know, if you try to arrest people in Zampilo, for example, they simply go underground and come up elsewhere where you are not present. You know, so from the reports that I've been getting, the Zampilo raid actually delivered very little because they couldn't really find the people. The people just simply gone underground and come up elsewhere where the police were not present at the time. Now, it's not a policing problem. It is a mining and economics problem that we are dealing with, and that is about rehabilitating mines. It is about closing mines properly. Putting caps on the top of mines is simply not good enough. People can circumvent those caps very, very easily. We've got a secondary problem that is developing there, is that the underground void is filling up with water, and that water is going to start spilling out the top very soon. It's five levels from the top, and that is acid water, it's radioactive water already in Davidsonville. Further down the road, the water is spilling out in the playground next to where school children are going to school at a primary school. You know, so are we also going to get that water eating up the conglomerate and dolomitic base in these areas south of Johannesburg, causing sinkholes and so on as well? So we've got a composite problem that needs to be dealt with by a department that's nowhere to be seen. You know, it's not Minister Cele's problem, this is Gwede Mantashe's problem, and we need to see him on the ground dealing with this particular issue. And for the last week, he's been nowhere to be seen.
We do have now Mr. Meshack Mbangula, of course, on the line. Mr. Mbangula, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, talk to us about the impact of this ongoing impasse between residents and, of course, these armed illegal miners who are terrorizing communities.
Yeah, initially, thanks to what Comrade David is saying. You see, what happened is the Zama Zamas, as they've indicated, are the people who are the name Zama Zama, who went out there to try and put bread on the table. And we engaged the TMRE to say, look, we need to reform this sector because it's possible that it can even employ other people and contribute to the community of South Africa if that is formalized and decriminalized. But unfortunately, it fell on the deaf ear. And now what happened is we have these kingpins we have these people now who use other people who not really looking for really work and so on to greediness, to get more minerals, and now they use guns and everything to forcefully engage in that sector. But if that was done 15 years ago, like Comrade David is saying, when engage and be able to formalize the sector and know who is working in this platform, because those people who are working in the mine, and when the mine closes down, the skill they have, it's mining, and they've got nowhere to go. Unemployment rate is very high. And now, if that we are proactive and acted in that way and engaged, the very same Zama Zamas would have been somewhere. We won't be even in this problem. Now, everyone, because now they know that there are minerals, the people are getting money, wants to dive to that sector, and even criminals are getting there. Now it's becoming a problem. And as putting up what David is saying, the DMRE and the minister should have been engaging in this sector. Police are mere reactive. We need proactiveness to work on this thing. People who know this thing. Police, they can close this thing. But there are a lot of shafts, like David indicated, 6,500 shafts that are there. And police knows they only shaft when they come out. But if we can engage the very same Zama Zamas, and you know that it's, the real Zama Zamas are not people who go out there and give problems to the communities. Because some of the Zama Zamas are community members. So we cannot say the problem here is, one, the mines that mine there and did not rehabilitate. Those are the criminals, because if they rehabilitated and the very same land was used for housing and for other things, it would have been better for agriculture. But they just came in and looted minerals and left the open shaft, and without even giving the skills to the mine workers for them to be able to be marketable in other sectors. And now the only people they only have is the skill to mining. They will go back down and try and get food out of that. And not only to say they didn't want them to be formalized. They came out in 2017. We marched to DMRE, the Zama Zamas, to say we need to be recognized, we need to be formalized, we want to be part and parcel of this mining sector in a right way.
All right.
And nothing happened.
Look, David, I know you're basically saying that this is not a police issue, but I mean, we did see the Minister of Police this week deploying a few units to raid some of these hotspots. Do you think there will finally be a change? I mean, the police minister came out and made a statement this week that SABC doesn't have the resources to deal with illegal miners. How then should DMRE assist in this impasse? And also, do you think this also feeds to the allegations that some police officials could be working closely with some of these syndicates?
Well, in our research, we find that thousands of police weapons disappear. They end up being sold to criminal syndicates, and the criminal syndicates control these operations. Some of these criminal syndicates are even security companies. Others are scrap metal dealers. Others are politicians. Others are tenderpreneurs. In Virginia, that accident that you had recently, we believe that there's a big tenderpreneur in Virginia that was behind that big accident that happened in May. Now, the fact of the matter is that it is not a policing matter. So that is not going to solve the problem. When a mine is closing down, it should be repurposed, it should be re-engineered so that it can be utilized in different ways, either for medium or small scale mining or for alternative economic activities. But at the moment, when you could go and look at the mines that were closed down and abandoned, it looks like it was in the middle of the Ukraine war. It looks as if it's been bombed out. Housing is gone, hospitals are gone, clinics are gone, sports facilities are gone. All these things that could have been useful to our country are no longer there. And the job opportunities that could have been created around this infrastructure is also gone. You know, mines can actually be used to help us alleviate the electricity crisis. These mine dumps that are so toxic can be turned into solar farms. You can do geothermal electricity generation down ultra deep level mines. There's so many things that can be done with these mines if we think creatively and we plan. But we don't plan until we've got a crisis. And this is the problem with the DMRE. They wait for a crisis to happen, and then they want to start shifting the responsibility to the police and other people, when in actual fact it was their responsibility to make sure that there is actually concurrent and post-mining economics taking place in these communities and in these towns. Whole towns are collapsing. We are seeing that now in Johannesburg as well, with the infrastructure collapse that we are having there, because we are not planning for an economy post-mining. Mining is not sustainable. Mining is not renewable. As it goes down, we need to plan for it.
All right, David, thank you so much. That was Mining Affected Communities United in Action National Coordinator, Mr. Meshack Mbangula, on the line, and Benchmarks Foundation lead researcher, Mr. David van Wyk, joining us to unpack the ongoing scourge of the illegal Zama Zamas.